All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson on how, or a lesson talking about how, when imagine a man or a group of people have been treated like peasants their whole lives, right? What happens in the day that they become the king, right? What would happen in the day that they become king, man? A person that's been treated horribly their whole life, a nation of people that have been treated horribly for generations. What would happen in the day that they become the rulers, man? What would happen? What would they do to the people that was mean and evil to them in the day that they find themselves in a position of power? What would happen, right? And I'm going to read this parable here because Yahweh Shai cut wicked Israelites in the past in regard to this, right? This is and this also applies though to the heathen. Matthew chapter 21 and verse 33, here another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower and let it out to husbandmen and went into a far country. And this is talking about how the Israelites had the kingdom, right? They had they had the authority over fellow Israelites, right? And they were supposed to lead the flock in the right way, not leading them astray, hustling them, stealing tithes money, right? Manipulating them. When a person brings them $1,000, 200, say, oh man, I didn't ask you to bring $1,000, 200. I asked you to bring 1,000 on top of another 1,000, right? Not lie and say that we're not the Israelites, right? And this is in the modern time that I'm talking about these things. But in the ancient time, Israelites did wickedness too, man. There was conniving and joining up with the Romans, with the Greeks, in order to keep our people as captive, man. Building up places of exercise, making our people break the laws. But that's not what they were supposed to be doing. They were supposed to be making us actually follow the laws. And when there was Israelites that were righteous, that was about keeping the law, wicked Israelites that wanted to try and be high priest would manipulate on the hand to have the position of high priest stolen away and given unto themselves, man. This is what wicked Israelites did in the past. And Yahweh Shai is rebuking them in this parable and explaining the kind of people that they are. And the far country is talking about how Yahweh Shai is not here right now, right? And he's in the heavenly realm, right? Verse 34, and when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen that they might receive the fruits of it, right? So that we can receive the kingdom. And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another and stoned another, meaning that every time that the prophets came and the men of the Lord came that was telling the truth, the other men that was teaching the lies, false prophets, would always be pushing them away, saying, y'all don't know what you're talking about. And that's what the Pharisees were doing, man. They were keeping the law, but when it actually came to righteousness, they were so over righteous that they were breaking the law in there trying to keep it. Because when Yahweh Shai was healing people on the Sabbath, for example, they'd have a problem with him healing somebody and want to kill him because he worked on the Sabbath. So really, they were breaking the law in them trying to keep it when they was trying to do stuff like that. And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another and stoned another. And I get verse 36, again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. And that's what Jake's doing now to the Israelites right now, man. They're all working underhand, backstabbing, conniving, trying to make out like the Hebrew Israelites are the worst thing going on the earth. These times, files have been getting released. And yet people are still trying to run at the mouth talking about black people with these times. Files where people have got islands doing a whole bunch of madness have been released. And yet people have still got something to say about, 13% this and 13% that. Leave us alone, man. Can we live once or what? Can we live once in life? Can we have anything in life? Or does everything have to be blamed on us? Can we live once, bruv? Or what, man? Leave us the hell alone, man. Leave us alone. And because you couldn't leave us alone, when the changeover comes, watch what y'all are going to get, man. Because you all just refuse to leave us alone and just try to scapegoat us for everything. Watch what Yahweh is going to do to you people, man. Through his son, Yahweh Shai. Just wait, man. And that goes for Israelites too. And I'm on about 2/3. People that don't even want to believe and accept that they're Israelite, man. Like some of you Jakes, man, the judgments that are going to happen to you and the way how you're going to look shamefaced in your eyes when you get jacked up, man. Like, we can't wait, really. And we ain't going to have to be the one doing the judgment neither. Yahweh's going to set things up to break you people down beautifully, man, because you're proud as hell. But anyway, verse 36, again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all, he sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. And this is talking about how Yahushua was sent to the Israelites, right? Because when Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all them kind of people, Amos, Jake didn't want to hear none of that. And then even when Yahushua came, all of Jake didn't want to hear then either, right? But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. And this scripture right here proves, right, that Yahushua and the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all them false prophets, they knew spiritually and silently amongst each other, they knew exactly who Yahushua was, right? And Yahushua knew that they knew exactly who he was, right? They knew that Yahushua was Yahushua, man. That's what I believe. They knew that Yahushua was Yahushua, and they were jealous and envious and wanted to steal the kingdom, man. Because Yahushua never came down the first time as a God. He came down in the flesh, right? In the same kind of flesh. He met the world as a man. But when he comes the next time, he's going to be in a completely different form, to where nobody could try and harm him and take his life away. And he kept telling these fake prophets, while he was on the earth, he was like, the day is going to come when you're going to see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven. So he was letting them know, okay, in this lifetime, you're going to be doing whatever you're going to be doing now. But in your next lifetime, in the future, when I come the second time, you are going to be on the earth and you're going to see me in them chariots, man. He was letting them know, you're going to see what I'm talking about right now. So all them false prophets all these people that are mentioned in the scriptures now, that we read about, that betrayed Yahushua, right? They're on the earth right now somewhere, man. This is what I believe through reincarnation. They're going to be on the earth. And that's why when you go to Revelation, scriptures like Revelation 1 and 7, right? And it speaks about how people are going to be mourning. The same word that we always bring out as Jakes, as Israelites, and that the same word what we bring out in Revelation 7 and 9, when it speaks about how they descended from one of the 12 tribes of the sons of Jacob, right? That word's in Revelation 1 and 7, because the return of Yahushua is going to be a way bigger deal to Israelites, because once they see him, they're going to remember that it's going to come back to their mind, man, I'm one of them ones that betrayed him. All them betrayal Israelites are going to remember that, man. They're going to remember, man, I betrayed him. And it's going to cut them to the heart. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, verse 38, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him and let us seize on his inheritance. So they was trying to kill Yahushua so that they could be the ones that was going to rule over the rest of Jake, man. That's what they wanted to do. And you've got Jake like that now. They don't want us to be Israelites. They say, I'm not black, I'm not brown, I ain't none of that. But then when it's time to try and say that they're black, then they say they're black. But then they'll say they're a Christian first. Guys like these Anton Daniels and all that, the guys like the No Fugazi and all that, they want to rule over Jake. But they don't want us to know who we are. But they don't mind as long as they can be the richest so-called black man in their mind. They don't care what position we're in. Even if they only, let's say that a guy like Anton Daniels only had 1 million, but he was the richest Israelite, he wouldn't care that the richest that we can be as a nation is only 1 million. He wouldn't care. If he had to bring every other so-called black man down so that he could be the richest one, he wouldn't care. As long as he's the richest one. Because you notice how the guy doesn't talk about how he thinks he's the most handsome Israelite, how he thinks he's the most smartest Israelite, how he thinks he's the wisest. Every time he's trying to stunt and flex on another Jake, it's always about money. He ain't going to try and boast about being the tallest Israelite, the wisest, the most healthy. He's always about money when he's trying to stunt on people, man. And he's Porsche. As if cars don't break down, man. Carrying on. Verse 39, and they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him, which they did to Yahushua. When the Lord thereof of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen? And that's talking about what do you think that Yahweh's judgment will be then for people like that betrayed his son? What do you think Yahweh's judgment is going to be for those people? And the men that betrayed Yahweh and were continuously trying to harm him, they vocalized their own judgment, what they think that they deserve. They actually understood what the judgment was, yet they still was trying to do it. Verse 41, they say unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons. And who are the other husbandmen? The other husbandmen are real prophets of Israel, not fake ones. They're actually going to teach the truth. The actual husbandmen that was kept getting sent and was being unalived, the servants, man. That's who the other husbandmen are. The other husbandmen aren't other nations. The other husbandmen are real prophets, man. Real people that believe in the Lord. He's going to give it unto them. The people that actually believe and was prepared to guide the children of Israel in the right way, to prepare them to not take the MOTB, to not bow down to the society, that the Jacob's trouble has to happen for us to get the kingdom, and there's no way around it. If you think you're going to get on the chariot without going through Jacob's trouble, you're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken, man. The only Jakes ending upon the chariots without having to go through Jacob's trouble will be a Jake that's shown faith leading up to the kingdom, and they're not alive no more and they've died already. Those will be. Because Yahweh had a certain level of mercy on them where their lot was fulfilled without having to go through that kind of thing. Verse 22. In fact, I'm going to jump down. I'm going to read this one as well, actually. Verse 42. Yahweh saith unto them, did ye never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner? This is the Lord doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. And Yahweh did that. He made Yahweh get rejected, but he's actually the top of all things on earth, right? But then on a lower level than that, right? The Hebrew Israelites, the so-called black man, Latino, Native American man, have been treated the worst on this earth. But what happens when a group of people have been treated terribly, like they're pieces of crap, but actually they're the ones that are going to rule the world forever? What do you think they're going to do in a time when they become in power, man? Them Pharisees knew. They say unto them, he will miserably destroy those wicked men. So that's some of the things that's going to be happening when the Israelites get the changeover and they actually put in the position that they're destined to be in, man. All these people that have been horrible to us on this earth, treating us like we're crap, conniving against us, your wicked neighbors, all you Jakes out of here probably got a neighbor that gets on your damn nerves, right? They're conniving, they're trying to compete with you, keeping up with the Joneses. They're wondering why you might have a car that's good, even though they might already have one. They're trying to compete with your car. They're trying to compete with if you cut your grass, right? They're trying to watch whether you can afford Lurpak. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to compete with everything. They're trying to watch what your woman looks like and see if your woman looks better than their woman. And then they're jealous of that. If you're a Jake and you might have a so-called white woman and then you got some Edomite neighbors, they'll be looking at you like, man, why is his Edomite woman look better than my Edomite woman? There's something's gone wrong here. Some of you Jakes having to not put your work clothes out on the washing line because you don't want your neighbors to know where you work because they'll be jealous of where you work. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to do that. First off, you shouldn't even have to live close to Esau in the first place anyway. But we're having to do all these things as self-defense mechanisms in this world just to maintain a certain level of sanity, man. But we shouldn't have to be doing all of that. We shouldn't have to be getting tormented by these scumbags. But this is the lot that we've been given for now until the kingdom. Verse 45, and when the chief priests and Pharisees heard his parables, they perceived that he spake of them. So they knew that he figured them out. They knew he was unto them, man. And it vexed them in their spirit, but they couldn't harm him. Verse 46, but when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude because they took him for a prophet. So they was like, man, if we put our hands on this guy, they're going to mash us up, man. These people are going to mash us up. And that's what people know now. That's what certain Jakes know now, man. And that's why the Hebrew Israelite thing is the most open secret of all time in this world right now. And some people get brave to try and mention the Hebrew Israelites. But when you notice when they mention the Hebrew Israelites, they don't really try and say too much about GMS, though. They don't really want to. They don't really want to go there. Some of these celebrities, they don't want to really take it there. They're trying when the Hebrew Israelite thing gets mentioned, things kind of go quiet, you know. When people think that someone's going to mention that we're the Israelites, shit gets a bit quiet. People start getting a bit tingly because they know that that's the truth. They know that that's like a thing that once you mention that, the world starts getting weird towards you. People aren't ignorant and aren't ignorant to what happened to Kanye West. They know what happened to Kanye West. They know what Kanye West said, really. They try and play dumb. I think, oh, it's because of what he said about the small hats. No, y'all know what he really said that bothered people. Y'all know what he really said. He said that we're the Israelites. That's what bothered people. It wasn't nothing that he said about anything else. Verse 46 again, but when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude because they took him for a prophet. And people know that there's people that believe in the Hebrew Israelite thing right now. And that's why every now and again they try and use some whack-ass celebrity to try and say, I believe this, because it's a secret, it's a tactic to try and find out how many other people believe in it, man. They're trying to figure out the numbers of people that believe in this. So they'll pick out one of these celebrities, right? And they'll make them mention it to try and see how many other people start agreeing. That they can be like, oh, damn, that's how many people believe this. And that's why they recently used Kanye West to come out and start talking about this, man. And in the future, soon, they'll probably start putting out a few more celebrities that start mentioning stuff like that. But this lesson was just about what happens in a time where a group of people have been getting treated like crap, man. And then eventually the time comes where they end up in power. Where the prophecies speak about this, man. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and that's what he's going to do. Like, you cannot believe that Yahweh is going to have mercy on us all you want. He's going to have mercy on us, right? That's what ultimately what we're waiting for is mercy. The return of Yahweh Shai is mercy. That's what the return of Yahweh Shai is for the children of Israel, is mercy. Even for the Israelites that Yahweh Shai is going to destroy. They're going to get mercy, man. Because they're going to be in the kingdom as well. With shame and everlasting contempt in their own eyes. When they have to think about, man, I betrayed Yahweh Shai, and yet he still granted me immortality. Now he went upside my head to give it me, but he still gave it unto me though, man. And that's like if a child was naughty to their parent, and then the parent beat their child, but then still gave the child all the beautiful things that they said they was going to give him, and that child's gonna feel guilty that even though they betrayed their parent, they still end up with those beautiful things, and they're gonna feel shame, man. And set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the strangers are not no heathens, man. The strangers are Israelites that were strange to their own house for a while, but have been brought back. Right? Just like how we've all been strange. I wasn't born believing that I was no Israelite. I thought I was black, even though my skin's always been brown. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So that's what happens in a time where a group of people have been treating people like crap. And then the time comes where they end up on a higher level than them. They put them in captivity and oppress the people that want to oppress them. That's what happens. And that's what's going to happen. You people on this earth are going to all wish that you was a lot nicer to the children of Israel, man. In the place that he was selling to us, we're not the people. These same places it's going to be said we are. You had this little clown, this Sneeko guy. He had a debate with Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sotomayor. And Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sotomayor, it's mainly Tommy Sotomayor was saying, yeah, but you're saying all this stuff about the small hats. That's not how he was saying. He was saying the JOOs. But like, he was saying, there's black Jews though. So how come y'all ain't talking about that? And then he was saying, no, there's not no such thing as black Jews. And he was like, you don't have to believe that there's people that are black Jews, but they say that they are. And there's people that are consider themselves African Americans, that one of the main things that they believe is that they've had their identity stolen, and that they're claiming that they're the Jews when they're not really, but they're really the Jews. And it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. That's what they say. And he was just not addressing it. was trying to ignore it. We didn't want to hear none of it, right? But right now, because he tried to play some song against the Small Hats, he's being cancelled all over the place, and had his friends, Mr. Tatey boy, betrayed him and turned his back on him and all that, which some of that stuff's probably staged anyway. But if we just take it at face value, he's been thrown under the bus by all the rest of them. He's been thrown under the bus by all the rest of them, and he's going through some emotional trauma. He's dyeing his hair blonde. He hates so-called black people, but then his dad's supposedly Haitian. He hates so-called black people, but every time he's trying to seem cool and that, he's trying to talk like how a New York so-called black man would talk. You know what I mean? Like these guys, he's always trying to hang around with Rampage Jackson. He's always trying to hang around with Kanye West. These are so-called black men. But then when he gets around these Edomites, then he's trying to talk all these black people are this and black people are that. But then why when you've got the opportunity to hang around with other people, do you decide to hang around with black people for? Why? Why are you wanting to hang around with Rampage Jackson all the time then? Why are you wanting to hang around with Kanye? Why are you trying to hire security guards that are so-called black men? Hire an Edomite, man. Why would you hire a person that's from a nation of criminals? And on another note, if so-called black people are so aggressive and violent, how comes every time I'm seeing a carer that has to take care of old people, how comes most of the time they're so-called black people? Why would you hire a 13% criminal to take care of some of your weakest people, either the elderly or the young? And a lot of midwives are normally Israelite women too. A lot of carers are so-called black men and so-called black women. So why would you hire such a violent race of people to take care of your weakest? Surely they would be violent towards them, right? Or would you really actually hire the most caring people to take care of those groups? And is that not what's actually taking place on this earth? You people are such scumbag demons that you want to try and make out like we're wicked when you know that we're not. You know that we're not nowhere near as violent as you try and make out like we are, man. And we understand the game. You have to throw us under the bus to try and keep your society going, man. We understand what it is. But what happens when the changeover comes, though? What happens? I've already read the prophecy in Isaiah 14:2. The oppressors become the oppressed. Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, because there's loads of us, man. We ain't alone down here as a nation. In fact, amongst all of your nations in this world, we're in there looking exactly like you, waiting to be gathered in that great day of the Lord's salvation, man. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. That's what that Sneeko guy was saying. There's no such thing as black Jews, you idiot, and all this, mate. What? You're not smart enough to know what you're talking about. That guy's not smart enough to know what he's talking about. The guy became Muslim because Andrew Tate became Muslim, but now he's got beef with Andrew Tate, but that's the geezer that made him become the religion that he is. Like, the guy is lost. The guy is lost, mate. And some of these people are not even relevant enough to mention, but they have influence in this world, and the things that they say get attention from people, man. So when these people get judged, it's gonna the information is out there that there was once upon a time talking that shit in regard to whether we're the Israelites or not, and this is the reason why they're going for it, man. That they was too vocal running their mouth, and that Myron Gaines guy, he's gonna get it too, man. Yahweh's got something waiting for that guy too. Man, Sudanese, but it's talking like he's an Edomite. All of his talking points are about how America and how Edomites can have more rights in America and more power. But what man ain't got nothing to say for his own Sudanese booty scratchers, man. What about the Sudanese people, man? What you got to say about them Hamites? What you got to say about your own people? Like, I never seen a guy that's tap dancing, swiveling his hips for another nation as much as that, man. It's absolutely disgusting when you think about it. Ye are not, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. So these people are going to be made to have to acknowledge that we're the sons of God, man. You can run your mouth now. It's cool. Like, I wouldn't believe it neither if I was in your shoes. But like, yeah, these people, nah, man, nah. Like, these people. But this is what I find funny. These people don't want to believe that some people that can dunk from the free throw line are the children of Israel. right? Some people that just have flow and flavor dripping out of their pinky finger. They got more spirit and more flow in our pinky finger than what them small hats have got in their whole body. When I see them videos of them small hats dancing in those mosh pits, I almost want to throw up on my screen, right? But then when I watch a video of just some random Jake dancing, I'm like, mate, that's what flavor is. That's what the Chosen looks like they're able to do to me. Here is these small hats are claiming that they're the Chosen, but when you watch them dance, they literally hold one arm over one shoulder, one arm over another guy's shoulder, and they're just jumping up and down in the same spot. But when you watch Jake dance, man, Jake will. I seen one video that Jake danced, like did an interpretive dance like he's drunk, and then when he smoked a spliff, which that's going off, but when he smoked a spliff, it woke him up, and man bounced, did some twist spin move, and that man did a front flip. The man did a side flip off his shoulder. He rolled from standing position, off of his shoulder, down from onto his neck, then off his other shoulder, and stood up. I was like, mate, what the? I had to rewind it a couple of times just to see what the hell he did. Then you've got guys like that Fiction guy, right? And I was watching one fight scene where he was doing some choreographed fight scene with my next Jake, and the Jake did some next move where he I don't know what the hell, he did some handspring off of his shoulder, man. But it looked like a kind of move that you would have to have wires for normally. But there weren't no wires. He really did the move, man. Man sprang off of his shoulder and kip-hopped off of his shoulder on the concrete outside on the floor. But that's just stuff that we can, it's not even impressive when we do that. If you ever watch these shows like X Factor and all these kind of things, or these singing shows, where there'll be plenty of so-called black women that be coming on there and so-called black men singing amazingly. No one's impressed. But then the so-called white-looking person comes singing exactly the same, and everyone's falling out of the sky because they just expect us to have that kind of talent. It's expected of us to have the talent, man. It's just natural. It's not a shock for us to be good at things, and that's why I've been asked this before, and I ain't no spitter. I ain't got no flow like that. I can spit better than Vocab Malone, though. I guarantee that. I guarantee I could write something down and sound better than Vocab Malone, but I ain't no rapper. But I've had people just ask me in life, can I rap? Can you rap? Because it seems like all black people can just rap. But that's musical skill, though. But nobody just expects that, anyone from any other nation can just have some musical talent, though. Because y'all ain't got it like us, man. And that's why no matter, even when we ain't near, even when we ain't around, we get mentioned because you're jealous. But rather than say, man, something about these people is better than everyone else, you try and make out like we're just black monkeys and try and, instead of praising the things that we do that are righteous, you try and make lies where you're trying to make out like we're just committing all the crime in the world. But there's body cam video arrest footage on the internet that I watch plenty of those videos, and I see loads of so-called white people committing crimes, and I see other people committing crimes too. And when I look on the comment section of those videos, I never hear it being attributed because of their race. But whenever I look on the videos where it's a so-called black person committing a crime, they always bring race into it, as if they're not subscribed to the same channel and haven't seen the same videos where a white person committing a crime, but them people probably don't even comment on those videos some of the time. But when it's a so-called black person, here we go again, usual suspects. But then when it's a person of another race, they ain't got nothing to say. Or when it's a person of their race, they never think they're committing the crime because of their color. But they think that everybody else is committing a crime because of their color. And that makes you a hypocrite, man. Verse 11, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, all the tribes, man. And that's what proves that those people in the land of Israel claiming that they're the chosen are not like all you see these people that believe that those people are the chosen. It's so dumb. How could the chosen be so ugly? I ain't never seen one of those small hat looking people and be like, man, and obviously no homo. I ain't never seen them and be like, man, that person's actually handsome and actually has a manly kind of stature. They always look weak and frail, man. They always look dumb. But when I see people that believe that they're Hebrew Israelites, I'm like, that person looks like they got actually a manly stature. That person actually might have a handsome face, no homo. Right? But when I see these small hats, I'm like, mate, they look disgusting. Like the chosen just wearing all black all the time. Like, wouldn't the chosen have some kind of flow? Wouldn't the chosen have some kind of style, bro? Why would it all be the one same template look of just wearing all black? And you people actually really believe that they're the chosen? Really? Yet everyone's trying to wear clothes with so-called black men's names on the back. People are trying to have like I saw a video the other day where some Edomite, like teenager or whatever, was trying to set Rampage Jackson up with his mom. And then not far behind was the guy's dad. So he's trying to set Rampage Jackson up with his mom, but his dad's there. Why aren't you trying to do that with a small hat, man? Why aren't you trying to throw your mom at a small hat? They're meant to be the chosen, right? Now that's going off for that teenager to do that. But the point I'm making is that people be worshipping Jake. That Rampage Jackson guy's always got people all up in his frame, throwing himself at him, man. He's always flirting with all these women, saying crazy ass stuff, and they're loving it when he's talking to them like that, man. Now, I'm sure it helps that he's a millionaire, right? But they be loving him. Going to his parties and all that, be wanting to be around him and that. They be wanting to be around him, man. They be wanting to be around him. But it's not the same for no small hats, though. People are only going to be around a small hat if they're going to get some money. No one ain't just going to be around them for no money. Like, I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't even imagine me and 5 of them being in the same room and me just talking with them about nothing, mate. I wouldn't want to be there with them. I wouldn't want to be around them. When I see them looking like, I think they look weird. There's just something off about them, man. They don't seem cool to me. They don't seem chosen to me. But when I'm just around and see so-called, I might just see as Jake riding his bicycle with no hands. I'm just like, yeah, that looks like what a chosen person could do. Now, some people might say, oh, but that's biased though because you look like them. Or whatever. If you want to say that, that's whatever you want to say. But we show way more evidence of being chosen and being special than anybody else in this world. At the base level of things where money does not change your access to how you can show that you're special. The Israelites show that they are special more. This Negro, Latino, Native American shows that they are more special than anybody else when money's not a factor. We show that when things are free, when money does not change how you can prove that you are special, right? We show ourselves to be special more than everybody else in things that are free. We show more evidence in that than anybody else. I don't care what none of you people want to say. We show way more evidence of being chosen when things are free and money is not a factor. We don't show that we're chosen by wealth and stuff like that right now. We're actually showing that we're chosen by how much hell we're catching, that we're under the curses. But when it comes to singing, being able to dance, being able to box, sports that we don't require much, we show that we're better than everybody else, man. And then even when it comes to certain sports where you might need a high financial backing, Formula 1 and golf, we show that we're special there too. We show that we're special there, man. Because we're just better than you people, not because of anything that we did, because Yahweh made us be better than you. We're just better than you. And like I like to say all the time, there's not nothing that you can do about it. You can't do nothing about it, man. We're better than you. Now, you don't have to believe that, but you're going to see. You're going to live to see it, man. I'm going to end the video there, right? Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.